Hello, and welcome to some VOD review of my very first run in Heroic Antorus. My name is Tutu. I'm one of the balance readers for MAD, a mythic guild on Illidan US. I'd like to preface this by saying that this VOD will contain mistakes as well as good decisions I hopefully made throughout our first part of Heroic Antorus. The purpose of the video is for me to give my thoughts on decisions I made and mistakes I should fix that cost me either DPS or worse. This contains not the full lead of wipes, but rather the kills, which are still messy despite that. Without further ado, let's go. Hello, and welcome to the Fellhounds review. My current talents are Starlord, Displacer Beast, Guardian Affinity, Typhoon, Incarn, Shooting Stars, and Stellar Drift. The review of this mod will be rather short, as the mistakes aren't as numerous. I'll be noting them down and suggesting how to fix this. First things first is dot management. Since you're using Shooting Stars for this fight, you want 100% uptime on your dots. This is to get the gen from Shooting Stars as well as the damage from it. I want to keep track of the boss bars you have or the debuffs you apply to them so they never fall off. I let them fall off and I suffered for it. Next thing up is my personal problem is managing Onus Intuition procs. You want to make sure as soon as you get the Starfall proc you use it, unless your Starfall proc overwrites it and you lose an extra cast of Starfall. I have fixed this for me by paying more attention and tracking the proc itself. I also recommend a Starfall mass over a macro. Besides that, you'll notice me fixing this mistake in the footage live. Another thing is managing your movement during Consuming Orb. It has a lot of pull, so you want to get as far away as you can and let the orb pull you back towards center naturally. I did that once and it seemed to work out. Use either Displacer Beast or Wild Charge in Boomkin form to achieve this or positioning yourself ahead of time. I have to really say though, that is it for the mistakes. So let the audio play at half volume as I was sick that day and hearing my cough isn't going to help you. Muting is also recommended, but I know some people want to hear the comms. I'll be reviewing next fight, Antorus in High Command, and it is a bit of a problem in there, so that one might have a little bit more suggestions. Thank you for watching.
Whoever has that line in the middle, Shadow Priest.
Ready to stack soon, Siphon coming. We're also gonna have lines. Actually, we're also having pools. We're also having pools.
Everyone just move left if you get shit on you.
Beware.
Left.
Look out lines, look out dots, pools.
Good job, Melee.
We got Consuming Sphere come, that's vacuum.
Beware.
Addy Revival's next.
We got Flame Corruption coming, so spread 8 yards. Boss back.
Stack. That quick.
Big heals blood.
Just let us know if you get the fear. I'll pull up onto you.
Siphon Corruption coming, that is a stack.
Addy, you can do this one.
I did the cast.
Lines
Yeah,
out.
just
Stack up Siphons.
no healing cooldowns. Big personals.
Lockstone if you got it. It's all over. Vacuum coming up.
Beware. Beware.
Silence.
Dodge shit, dodge. Fire back. Vacuum melee. Stack. Fear stack. Wave and flame coming. 8 yards. 8 yards. 8 yards.
Yeah. Doesn't matter the fast one.
So much cleaner.
Ooh, I got the mount.
Congrats. That's dude.
That's on the mount.
You already.
Welcome to the Antorus High Command Review. My talents for this fight are Starlord, Displacer Beast, Guardian Affinity, Typhoon, Incarn, Shooting Stars, and Stellar Drift. I want to first mention my talent selection for this fight is wrong. As I am using Onus Intuition and I'm currently in an AoE fight, you should be using Soul of the Forest. As such, do not use Incarn for this fight. This was my first mistake. My second mistake and warning is to be wary of mines. As you can see, I step on a few, or let some drop and or explode on me. The way to avoid this is to watch your feet, and if it'll help, keep a top-down view on this boss fight. Other than those two mistakes, I feel like I shouldn't have gone Onus Intuition here, and should have gone Soul of the Archdruid. So I'll tell you about the reasons to pick either. Onus Intuition is used for most AoE fights as it helps priority targets such as the bosses be damaged after you get a Star Surge proc from spamming Starfall. But Soul of the Archdruid can be more consistent in AoE as it empowers your depth further and reduces the cast of Starfall. From what I've seen, Onus Intuition could be better in this fight as there is a phase of pure SD, but again, it's up to you. I've seen Soul of the Archdruid as well as Onus Intuition pull ahead sometimes on a lot of fights from TOS and in Antorus. I also want to note that this fight is a Meanfire fight. Meanfire means you use your moons to build, you place one Starfall, dot all the enemies, and spam Moonfire for huge damage. Of course, you only use this with Lydia and the Child, and if you have tier 21, use that. But you don't do that outside of Incarnation or Celestial Alignment. When inside those, you do your normal AoE rotation. I also have to say, stay close to the edges of the room so the mines don't clot the center, and stay within your Starfalls so you can move to get within the fell barriers. Other than that, the fight went well. There's not much I can complain about in this fight, despite what I could say, and it definitely went worse than I expected. I hope you enjoyed this one, and the next one up is ENR. I'll see you then.
Everyone just AFK.
Fun, it's alright, guys.
Fusion late soon, do not touch any tar.
4, 3,
Fusillade?
2, 1.
How many did you get down on us? 3.
Or 4, you can start moving them.
Get to the middle.
Do not stand near emitters, put mines near them.
4, 3, 2, 1.
My bad.
Fusillade hide.
I'm out.
I swear to you, the raid leader was like, clean these ads, our boss coming. Mood gets purple. Or sorry, no, he said, DK purple. Fluid green.
Get away from mitters.
I go out there, and
Going over here and
well, DK.
The mines are flashing.
I got 15 seconds until I can
4,
get out. Get
3,
in.
2, 1.
Someone else needs to do it, start clearing mines then.
I'll do it.
Easy.
Chris, let us when you can.
Survival.
Watch your feet.
They're glowing. Why is no one in?
I'm in now. I'm in now.
4, 3,
Yeah, I just saw. Zacky Dack.
1.
Hide. Take it, blood. Your shit drop. Watch mines, people. I mean,
Eddie's out. Eddie's out.
clearly say.
Somebody else.
Hold on. I can't.
4, 3,
Pop blood.
2, 1.
Watch the floor.
Ranking.
Might have been colorblind.
I put down SLT too.
Maybe it was my fault. Maybe the purple one was actually the green one.
Four, three, two, one.
Let me know when you're done. I'm gonna drink.
lost out.
You
Right
lost.
after the
You
fuse
lost.
Does you have to go in for this, I think?
We're not gonna get fusillade anymore, are we?
Someone's hot or should I go?
I think I get it.
You go. You go.
Go hard.
I'm in.
No,
Okay,
fusillade.
Lotus is in.
Second barrett
dead. I'm
Please
dead.
or
Someone else
master.
go.
Okay. Ron, going.
I have more mastery available, so.
I'll call for him then.
Shit, on the flag. I gotta reload.
Not just
Mine.
hit the boss.
Restack.
Boss.
I can go in and turn if we need it.
Watch
Watch out melee.
Stop
Mine don't do buff.
We're going to take the boss towards the
I
middle.
have more mastery yet.
Four,
Is she?
three,
Yeah, I'm just gonna go in for this
one.
next pod.
Boss, watch mines.
Get it immediately. We need emitters.
Oh, I'm gonna find
Use the
Revival?
right.
Oh,
Yep, I already got it out.
Oh, I'm good.
One I'm using. Watch the blade storm. I got hand here again.
Save it.
Hold on, blood.
Him.
Watch
Yep, another one on top.
Watch blade storms.
I'm out. I got 3 down.
4, 3, 2, 1. Back outside again.
You slid?
Dispel healers. Hold on if you got it. Restack.
That sucks for me. I'm so bored.
Guarantee they're gonna do something.
Alright, so next week or 3 group.
Hello and welcome to the ENR review. My talents for this fight are Star-Lord, Displacer Beast, Guarding Infinity, Typhoon, Incarn, Buster of the Forest, Shooting Stars, and Stellar Drift. I'm using Soul of the Archdruid for this fight, so the talent selector may not show correctly, but I do indeed use Incarn and Soul of the Forest in tandem. This fight is highly mobile and plays a lot like an M+ fight. There's priority targets that you need to do DPS on, as well as the ads you need to murder. Most likely as a boomy will be on ad duty, such as the various trash and bats. I describe this as M+, because pulling AP for the next pack if the kill is preferable and definitely recommended. As well for a tip for this fight also. During the bat phase, you can use the feather to fly, and dot the bats as they come out. This can help get some gen as well as damage before you're able to hit them normally. My stakes for this fight I honestly cannot tell you. I did die in this fight, as I took some estimated damage, but I have to say, I feel like I would have died anyways. What essentially happened is that there was no healer on the main platform when the bats came out, so me and my other boomy both died as they didn't assign us a healer. I don't know what else mistakes I made. I guess being more common this fight would have helped as it was extremely hectic, and being coordinated for this fight is very much needed. I highly recommend you treat this boss, as I said, like a high mythic plus key, with the mini bosses being the ones with priority to pop CDs on, and the trash needed you to pull AP to get them down. Make sure you take advantage of Typhoon to slow the ads if they're going too fast for you. Other than that, I can't say much without repeating myself. That is honestly the last part of the ENR review. Thank you for watching.
You can still slow things that follow it. You just can't target them.
I did see.
Get back.
Don't worry if you need to. You're not missing anything.
My god, my slow makes this easy.
What is this fight?
I love
Hey,
multi-tower
focus up.
defense.
Where?
Rash is a 70%.
Hey, quit the small talk.
Middle.
We're going to middle.
Oh god,
When are the bats coming?
you guys,
Really?
you guys fall off, you guys safe fall. Just so you know.
Skater number 1.
I don't have the jump anymore. Are you serious?
Jump pads on every platform.
Refresh your UI.
Alternatively, fall.
Drag the purifier down the stairs.
Okay, bats.
Get your in
Coral is
out.
spawning.
On the outsides, guys.
You're not gonna be able to target them for a second, but just be
We
ready.
wouldn't be by like blue to kill the bats, by the way.
Beware.
It was.
Spear.
Yeah, I don't have
Spear to the
jumps.
Drive by!
Where are we going?
Alright, hasn't spawned yet. Middle. Or lower.
Group B, go upper. Group
Son of a
Frank.
boob.
It's fucked.
Yeah, it doesn't ping for me.
It just shows up level on your mini map.
All these pads are coming in hot.
Oh,
Hot dog. Should get some.
Oh shit, I'm gonna need a heal.
Bats don't have a healer.
Yeah, dead.
One of the rupees.
I'm coming,
Eddie, can you go?
Already dead. No healer. I don't know why we didn't put a healer down there. 2 of those are dead.
I should have lost.
Edge with fell.
Oh, is that bats? That's bats.
Up top, right?
No, that's bats.
No,
that's
that's
bats.
bats.
Fast.
Almost there, guys.
Hi. This fight sucks.
Oh shit!
I'm doing myself.
Cut her to the edge. Cut her to the edge.
The other edge, not right, nothing. That is that group
Lots of
last
bats.
group. So we're just like waiting
Really?
for them. We just sit here. Nope.
No,
Top,
no,
three.
Top.
Every portal. Group E go top. Group A.
Okay, middle.
Group A go middle. Yeah. Middle
Lots of
group
bats,
A.
guys.
Bottom might boot being an issue in about 2 seconds.
Do we have anybody with like a one slow or a CC that can go
I have
in
a
slow
cat.
right bottom?
Just nuke the big tank wolf. Only have one fell guard middle. There's 2 things bottom too.
Scared.
Gonna need a heal down here.
I'm
Up
going
front
bottom.
now.
Who's
Yeah,
down?
I got it, Josh.
Or your LOS.
Gonna need a heal down here, please.
Did you go, Tyler?
No, I'm in. Sorry, I got
No,
it.
I'll go bottom. I'll go bottom. You stay.
Okay.
Okay, they're gonna let me die again.
All 3 here in middle.
Can I get a heal, please?
Yeah, Eddie, I think you're
I'm
supposed to
up
go top of your group.
The fell lord
I
going
am
back. His ad's
I
going
thought you're B.
Right after this,
B
you
is
have
4,
to
5,
go
6.
bottom lane. After this, everyone bottom lane when you kill your shit.
Yeah. Probably just get the ANR.
Got an
and
obvious
stuff.
gator
Are bats
down
okay?
bottom, so.
Obfuscator bottom needs to die right away.
Try to cast.
There's somewhere.
We're at 5.
No, yeah, well.
What a stupid fight.
That was wait.
How did
Wait,
you
we
do
beat
that?
it?
Yes.
We beat it?
Holy fuck, my AC.
That was
awesome.
Hello, and welcome to the Iminar review. My talents for this fight are Star-Lord, Displacer Beast, Guardian Affinity, Typhoon, Incarn, Blessing of the Ancients, and Stellar Drift. I want to note that this fight seemed to be extremely easy for Boomy. I was at a high end of ST, which isn't something I expected. The mistakes I had were only one, and had to do with the laser beam he calls down onto you. You want to make sure it's at the entrance and exit at the areas in, so no one gets hit by it. The beam does have knockback, so please be careful that you don't get off the edge. I almost did that in this fight, as you can see, so I do have to warn this. When the boss goes to the other end to cast his channel, I recommend being in bear form and taking it slow as you go across the traps. People will pop the bomb somehow, so having as much health in bear form from a sudden burst of damage will help you and keep you alive. You have enough wiggle room, as you can see in the VOD, so don't be afraid to take it slow. I also want to say, do not interrupt the boss the first chance you get to him. You want to wait for the entirety of the raid to be there, as there's no DPS to be gained from interrupting him early. Or during his channel, as during his channel, he takes 90% reduced damage. You might notice me popping CDs or DPSing him during this, but that was to build for the true damage, which is preferable over doing nothing at all. This fight was honestly one of my best ones. There weren't many mistakes on my end, sans one, During the invite, you do notice me switching into bear form with a box over my head. It's a ticking, not the caster's gate. If your healers are competent, like mine, they deal with it easily, so don't stress it like I did and lose out on DPS. That's honestly the end of the Imana review, and that's the end of the video as a whole. I thank you for watching. I hope you learned a few things, as well as the positioning and how some of those fights go and the mistakes you would make and need to fix. I hope you enjoyed it. This is a video I haven't made in a while, so thank you. Have a nice day.
Be smart.
I like that guy.
Watch the balls.
Like,
Yep, that's a ball.
Revival.
Do not interrupt it. Do not.
Taking balls, just taking runs.
Trust. It's just that
But
these
it's
days.
not
Just healing dudes.
He doesn't take any damage. No, but yeah, he takes damage.
Remember, watch the cutters.
3, 2,
Yeah, we got so many
one.
blocks right there. Not getting blown off. Look out, beams.
Four, three, two, one.
Void. Beams. Get to the entrance and the exit with beams. Other beams not great.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Beams. Beam out. Beam out.
Hey, pay attention which one you have too.
Yeah, based on where we're standing, now melee can't get out.
2, 1.
Crack.
Head,
Get away
stand
from
at the back.
crack. Beams.
Puff, puff, get out of the crowd.
Fleck, get out of the crack.
Eddie's drinking.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Beams.
4, 3,
Watch the bombs.
2,
Fish is drinking.
1.
Beams out. Look out, tank. Look out, blood. Look out, blood. Do not touch the cutter.
Hey, hey, hey.
Yeah.
I miss my balance.
Oh,
Come
wow.
on.
Literally everybody was fucking standing there not moving for a reason.
Go.
Wait for the orb.
Take your time, guys.
Dodge the
A
orb.
lot of
Trust.
ranking.
Wait for the orb. Go far left. Baseline though, no talent. Natives there.
No.
Really?
Hemming.
Or mastery. Him, him.
Orb. Watch orb.
4, 3,
Might want to let.
Down.
2, 1.
Pay attention. The whole platform. Range. Try to group to one side.
Get anybody up.
I'm the only one over here.
4,
Get the
3,
car.
2, 1.
Do not conflict. I believe we just have to run this up.
There's one you got to on.
It doesn't fall off.
Correct.
Defensive.
But the longer the staff goes, the more busts you hit.
Definitely not. I know, but look out, orb coming.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Guys, I've had the urge to play Legends this mini game. I don't know how I would sleep because I don't have a gap. Dodge. I really want to play Legends this mini game.
What's this?